Chapter 16. Toulouse, 8th of March, present day. If you collect all their shed hair and make it into wool, then knit it into a jacket, would a werewolf wear wolf? These are the questions that keep me up at night. Aisha doesn't wait. She springs forward, katana and wakizashi, two Japanese swords so sharp they look like they're cutting ribbons out of the moonlight shining on them. I'm never quite sure how much of her martial arts is magic and how much is centuries of training. One thing's certain. Her two-sword ensemble is far more deadly than the 6-inch claws dangling off each of the wolfmen's fingers. One wolf, flanking the beater, bounds towards her, but only for a couple of steps. It's hard to bound when you're missing your legs from the knees down. Chopping off limbs with swords is hard, unless they're razor sharp, magically imbued, and you're a blade master. That's 3 out of 3 for Aisha and her weapons then. Leaving the squealing lichen lying behind her, she rolls under a claw that's being swung with enough force to take her head clean off her shoulders. Instead, she separates a hand from the wrist with a perfectly timed cut. The claws ring out as they bounce off the table's metal legs. It might sound like she's playing with them, but this is Aisha at her kindest. Werewolves have impressive regenerative skills, and by amputating limbs, she's taking them out of the battle without having to kill them. Plus, she's using normal steel, so reattaching their limbs is possible. That is incredibly generous, considering I don't doubt that she has at least one silver-tipped weapon on her. Dropping, she twirls and lops off another 2 pairs of feet at the ankles. Just as I think the battle will be over before it even starts, a hulking black shape barrels into her, tearing out her left bicep with its slavering jaws. They roll together, but I lose sight of them at this point as one of the other wolfmen steps forward to engage me. I take up a defensive stance. By letting them come to me, I can use their own force against them. Another of the wolfmen swings his baseball glove-sized paw at my head. I glide sideways, letting it flow past me, jabbing at him with my fingers. I strike at the pressure points on his side as his momentum carries him past. His arm drops limp, immobilized. The first wolfman closes in. Launching myself through his legs, I hit each ankle as I slide through. He crashes down like a ton of bricks into one of his comrades who's just tried to seize my foot in his jaw. Standing, I wince, the sharp pain in my side. Even though they didn't make contact with me, I have that salty taste in my mouth that says I'm close to vomiting from overexertion. Breathing is rapid and shallow, my muscles aching from the strain and tightening painfully into a cramp. I already need a break. When I get one, I wish I didn't. The tinny, broadcasted noise of a shot rings out and everybody freezes. I pull the phone that I took off Simple Simeon out of my pocket and look down. Another of the crowded bodies has dropped to the floor as the others push themselves backwards away from their dead friend. "What are you doing, you evil bastard? We didn't use any magic!" I yell despite the pain in my side. The voice sounds bored, entirely disinterested. "You may not have, but one of you did. I warned you specifically, Nithael." I look over my shoulder to see what's happened. One of the pack must have sidled around the action and launched himself at Isaac. He's now held, suspended in midair by angelic hands, whimpering at the burning brightness of the otherworldly light. White-faced, Isaac shakes his head, though whether in denial or disbelief, I can't say. "He had me banged to rights, lad. Nithael won't let me die. I'm so sorry." Another of the pack raises his head and howls, and suddenly the air fills with a chorus, venting their grief and misery. I feel desperately sorry for them all. Not something I had ever expected to feel for a bunch of werewolves, but this is a no-win situation for them. That they are here at all means they value the lives of their loved ones more than their own. They came to an unwinnable battle. Wolves versus mages is always going to be like bringing a knife to a gunfight, and even without our magic, anyone versus Aisha is shitty odds. This whole scenario is unjust, and there is only one way out of it. Clearly, Aisha has come to the same conclusion. The wolf in midair suddenly sprouting a blade tip from his right eye, the knife having entered through the back of his head. Within moments, 13 of them are dead. Knives secreted around her person having flown through the air, burying themselves into critical points, eyes, ears, hearts, for instant kills. Most of the wolves didn't even have time to react. Only Simeon is quick enough. He launches forward, huge shaggy head twisting at the right moment for the blade to whip past his ear and drive itself into his shoulder instead. It doesn't even slow him. He's gone feral, lost to a pain well beyond the physical. Aisha sheathed her swords to throw, knives now gone. So she reaches across her body, going for the shorter stabbing impact of the wakizashi before she can draw it. Simeon's closed the last of the distance and buries his muzzle into her chest, tearing all the flesh surrounding her left ribs off, getting underneath them, cracking them as he goes. I want to leap forward to help, but it's unnecessary. Of course. Aisha draws the short blade with her left hand despite all the damage done on that side and slides it under his snout, inside her own chest. I can't see clearly what happens, but there's a sad squeal, like a kicked puppy. Then Simeon collapses, huffs of steam coming from his nostrils. By the time he hits the ground, Aisha's already almost fully healed, the last white gleam of bone visible for a moment before the flesh covers it once more. Ana Asef, she murmurs in his ear as she slits his throat. I'm sorry. Aren't we all? Shoving her face into the phone as I hold it, she snarls, They're all dead. Release the prisoners. Show some slight honour. Fucking bastard dares to give us a slow clap to accompany his rasping, dry-throated chuckle. Well done. I knew you had it in you to be callous in your killing, and it only cost you 2 innocent lives. Fucking heartless wanker. 2? It's a start. Sure, 2 completely innocent people, but I make it 16. These 14 wolves might have been arseholes, but their deaths are no fault of their own. As far as I'm concerned, all the fault lies on the shoulders of the shit stain on the other end of the phone. I can feel my lip curling, my own snarl forming. Good God, I want to get my hands on that fucker. Let him taste my blade. But Aisha doesn't blink. I can be endlessly callous in my killing, and inventive, and for you, I'll include exceptionally sadistic for free as well. Come meet me. I'd love to show you. His humour evaporates. I doubt he likes anyone else stealing his thunder. I don't think I shall, Miss Candisha, if it's all the same to you. Now then, I am a man of my word, despite what you may think. However, there's one more thing I require you to do first. Well, not you. I think it will be far more amusing if the Hebrew does it. I look at Isaac, whose face is still white with shock. He'll be struggling with the guilt of the trade-off Nithiel made, his life for the hostages, for a while to come. Living beyond a normal human lifespan sometimes feels designed solely to provide ever more nightmare fuel. I wonder if any talented sleep well, or if we all wake up screaming in cold sweats more often than we get our recommended 8 hours. No wonder we're cranky as a rule. I suspect Phone Dick's problem is more than just a terrible night's sleep, though. I am also certain that none of us are going to like what he wants next. It's a simple requirement. You broke the rules, Isaac, and that poor, poor man, his voice drips with sarcasm, paid the price for your selfishness. You cost him his life by inaction. Your God is ever quick with justified retribution, isn't he? An eye for an eye and all that. So it's simple. If you want me to let all these people and their children go, kill Paul. What? I didn't think it was possible, but Isaac turns an even whiter shade of pale, like Procol Harum eat your heart out pale. This is totally not in his wheelhouse. Aisha wouldn't have hesitated. She gets it. This body is just a shell. Crack it open, and I'll fly off and find another one. But Isaac, I might not be a blood relation, but I'm the closest thing to a son he's ever had. And the only thing resembling family since Isaac's disappearance. Phone Dick's derision broadcasts itself loud and clear. Come along, Isaac. This time you get to play the role of the father Abraham, a sacrifice made to save their lives. Aisha, would you be so kind as to lend a blade? Slowly, Aisha draws another of her wickedly sharp knives and carefully hands it to Isaac. She makes sure to catch his eye as she does. It's okay, Sabi. Paul's coming straight back. We're going to do much worse to that piece of shit when we get our hands on him. For now, concentrate on what needs to be done. Bravo, Miss Candisha. A rousing speech. The slow hand clap starts up again. Good God damn. I've had enough of him sneeringly taking a piss out of us. Now, get on with it, Isaac. There's a good fellow. The blade quivers, its sides glinting as they catch reflections from the bare light bulbs swaying from the awning above us. Shakily, he advances towards me. I desperately don't want this to traumatize him. Wrapping his hand with mine, I help him get the trembling under control. Zach, listen to me. I speak quietly, but firmly as I raise the tip up to my breast. It isn't easy stabbing someone in the heart, almost as if ribs are there to protect it just from that. But, luckily, I've been stabbed so many times. The phantom pain of a blade sliding in is a reliable guide. Good to find the silver lining to being brutally killed over and over. It's like the mess we found in the shit wizard's basement. It isn't me. It's just flesh and bones. He just wants to fuck with you to see you hurting. I'll be right back. Get it done. Get them free, if we can. Anything after that? It's on him, not us, not you. Got it? Isaac bites his lip and nods. His hand steadies and I release it. Can't have that shitbag saying I killed myself, that I guided the knife in. Isaac has to do this on his own. I nod, not letting eye contact with him drop. Do it, man. For a moment, I think he'll refuse, but then he pushes sharply forward. The pain washes over me, an electric overload in all my nerve endings as this body's motor seizes up. Then I am gone. I snap my eyes open. I'm lying in an upright position, which is unnerving. It isn't something I am used to. People don't leave dead bodies propped upright unless some psychopath ruler has called for the taxidermist because they need a new hat rack. Terror strikes me. I'm trapped again, bound like I was in that fucking basement. I can't move, can't raise my hand, can't seem to do anything but blink. And Pascal is here. The mortuary assistant is right in front of me. The same face I saw when I came back to life after escaping the shit wizard's clutches. Only this time he doesn't faint away in terror. at the corpse he's working on coming back to life. Instead, a confused expression crosses his face, like trying to solve a particularly tricky crossword puzzle over Sunday breakfast. Then horror spreads across it. My horror. I watch the features melt into mine, and I realize why I've been strapped to a table vertically. I'm facing the mirrored wall. Pascal isn't standing in front of me. The body I've woken up in is Pascal. Looking down, I see straps holding my arms and legs in place. They're necessary, otherwise the cadaver would have collapsed to the floor before I took it over. No doubt ruining the surprise. No prizes for guessing who set it up. With some careful wiggling, rubbing my wrist raw against the leather restraint, I free one hand from the straps. Then it's a simple matter to undo the others and stumble off the table. I'm trembling, shaking, but I don't think it's from the cold this time. A pocket on my new loose-fitting canvas trousers vibrates, and I fumble out a phone showing an incoming video call. I take a moment, biting back my shaken fury to regain my self-control, then accept the call. The same video scene pops up again. The terrified, traumatized prisoners are all still scooting away from the two dead bodies stuck inside the magic circle with them. We did what you asked, you bastard. Let them go. My voice is steady by will alone. I deserve an Oscar for not tearing strips off him for this complete lack of humanity. I will, Paul. Don't worry. Your other friends are watching on the other phone, but I've muted their call. I wanted a moment. Speak to you first. Then I'll let them go. It's hard to keep my hand steady, but I manage it through force of will. I don't know if I believe him, if he'll really follow through and release them, or if he has some other sick, twisted game in mind first. What do you want to talk to me about privately? I just wanted you to know that this is how it will go if you try to resist my orders. It's not like you have many friends, but any you have, any you've ever had, I'll track them down. I'll make them suffer so much that even you, with 1,000,000 painful deaths under your belt, could not imagine. I'll send them all to their end as slowly and horribly as anyone could dream of. Then I'll move on to the likes of Pascal here, people you've just met, momentary crossings where they've drawn your sympathy, the girl who catches your eye and brings a smile to your lips, the man who gets a nod of thanks for stopping his car to let you cross, more of those poor wretches that serve your watery friend who can't stop his fishy lips from flapping. I will kill them all. There isn't a threat to what he says. It is a statement of fact, an absolute promise, an unquestionable, terrible certainty. I stand, done to silence by the casualness of his preparedness for mass murder as he carries on. If you deviate, if you allow your friends to deviate from concentrating on finding the veil and bringing it to me, other people will pay the price over and over for your failings, all those innocent deaths on your shoulders. Do you think you can bear it? More weight to add on to all those centuries of errors you have to carry already? Oh, and one last thing. The offhand words don't match with the loaded intent, and honestly, it terrifies me. This isn't Columbo. The one last thing isn't going to break open the case. I am more worried. It might be something to break my heart. Do remember, I know all about you, all of you. Isaac, and you are pretty little conundrums, probably too much work to be worth the effort, but Aisha, I know the Arb al-Hayat intimately. In the end, it's just another elixir. A positive poison, if you like. And every poison has an antidote, so don't dawdle. There's a good fellow. For a moment, I think my heart stops beating. The silence of the morgue grows, amplifies, and seems to resound in my chest, an absence of noise echoing around the empty cavity. Without the Arbal Hayat, Aisha will be mortal. That attack by the werewolf leader wouldn't have inconvenienced her. It would have killed her stone dead. If the bastard is telling the truth, he's just raised the stakes dramatically. Terror floods my system, every inch of my body vibrating at the thought of losing her. It's only when I hear fumbling, and then another line connecting before Isaac's voice carries through, that I feel my pulse again. Sure, my heart is beating after all. Paul, are you there, man? I'm here, Zach. Everything's fine. Relax. I keep my tone calm. Spooking the others as badly as I am won't help matters. Let them go. Now. On the screen, the magic holding the assembled people vanishes. We can hear doors slamming open. From the left of the screen, natural sunlight streams in, illuminating an old abandoned warehouse. A gaggle of scared kids runs in, their faces marked with tears and terror. The adults, traumatized in their own right, quickly shepherd them outside. Away from the two bodies left conspicuously behind. 2 more scores I need to settle with this phone dick piece of shit. There, he says kindly, like a grandfather, fussing over a child's grazed knee. All done and dust. The tone goes flat, cold again. I let them go because I can find them again any time. I don't need them. Their death or life serves me no purpose for now. If you stay motivated. Listen, I start, but he cuts me off. No, you listen, good man. I will not be dictated to nor distracted, and you will do as I say. If I believe for a moment you are deviating from my instructions, that you are searching for me instead of the prize I've demanded, you will pay. The price will be innocent lives, and I will find more and more innovative ways to make you kill them. Each death will rest upon your shoulders, so make your choice. All of you. Are you hard-hearted enough to hunt me down? Or are you going to do as you're told, like the good man you are? Don't doubt for 1 minute that I'll be watching. The screen blanks, and somehow I can sense it is final. I don't know if he's fried it from a distance or flipped a switch. The phone's a dead brick now. I hurl it against the far wall, the tinkling sound of it smashing into composite pieces and shards of plastic, the tiniest of balms on my wounded soul. I pull out another burner from my etheric storage and dial Aisha. She picks up instantly. Where are you, Sabi? Straight to the point. Good. She's ready to get moving again, get on the hunt. Now I just have to steer her in the right direction for her own sake. I'm in Perpan again, home from home. Want me to come get you? I think about it for a moment. Honestly, get Isaac home safely. He'll need a stiff drink and an empathetic ear. I think, having had to stab me in the heart, it'll be better you than me. Considering he's Jewish, he does a remarkable impression of Catholic guilt. Got it. We stand, silently, for a moment. I can imagine them there, surrounded by dead wolfmen. Thankfully, Aisha threw up a "don't look here" spell across the area, or we would have some serious explaining to do. I look forward, Aisha begins, slowly and deliberately, to pulling his lungs out of his nostrils, inflating them with an air compressor, and then turning them into pin cushions. I blink. Oddly specific, but yeah, seconded. Do me a favour, clean up there, will you? Will, who owns Lastronef, is a good guy. Cleaning up werewolf entrails isn't in his job description. She grunts affirmatively. Right, I'm going to jump on the tram and head home, try to get some rest. We'll get our revenge on this shithead, don't doubt it. You too. I'll be round at the crack of dawn. What's Dawn going to say about you being round her crack? I ask, searching for a bit of normality. Probably that you're a dickhead and thank fuck it's me, not you. Touche, Laguna, touche. Nah, no touche. She doesn't want you to touche her, that's the whole point. Sensible Dawn, I reckon. Thanks, Ash. Kick a man when he's down, why don't you? With great pleasure. If you're not up when I get round tomorrow, I'll be more than happy to wake you up with a few choice rib shots. Deal? Deal. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow, dickhead. The line goes dead. I feel marginally better, which is a lot better than I expected to feel when I woke back up here and realised whose body I was in. Staring at my hands, his hands. I wonder how he died. Who will miss him? His desk stands on the other side of the room. Selfishly, I'm glad that I'm on this side of it. I can see the backs of some photo frames. The good God knows I don't want to see whose pictures are in them. How much of this is my fault? It's a question I'd love to ignore, but it keeps coming back, buzzing around at the edges of my consciousness, demanding an answer. It's all very fucking weird. If he's got Jacob, why isn't he going after Isaac, chasing him, calling him? Sure, he made Isaac kill me. But messing with him was just a bonus. It was to talk to me in private, to threaten me. Somehow, this all feels very personal, as though Phone Dick has a score to settle with me. I wonder what I've done that's caused him to hate me so much. The problem is, over the centuries, I've given plenty of people plenty of reasons to despise me and want me dead. Since my very first life, each time I left a body, heading off to start anew without a backward glance, I seem to have left a trail of destruction and misery in my wake, intentional or not. It's a slow, painful walk up the steps from the morgue. Each one feels weighed down by every idiotic mistake I've made over the past 800 years.